People say that there's two types of motivation, intrinsic and extrinsic. Now, I'm going to add a third type of motivation to that, and that's going to be doing it for other people or for your word to other people. Basically, throughout this video, I'm going to break down each type of motivation, and I'm going to give you a background on how you can use each type of motivation to help you grow in the gym, to get you better results, and stuff like that. So, what I'm going to focus on first is intrinsic, then extrinsic, and then doing it for other people. So, go ahead, stick around, watch the whole video, get water, get popcorn, whatever you need to do, write some notes down, and get ready to learn. So let's get it. Intrinsic motivation, you guys probably know what this means. It's basically doing something for yourself. I want to go to the gym so I look better in the mirror. I want to go to the gym so I feel better about the lifts that I have. You know what I'm saying? I want to go to the gym so I could prove to myself that I can do this lift. I want to go to the gym so I could just, I don't know, feel more comfortable in my body, right? Just for me. I want to do it for me. Intrinsic means is you're doing it pretty much for you, doing it internally, intrinsic. And basically, intrinsic motivation is very good for a lot of beginners. A lot of people getting into weightlifting, powerlifting, bodybuilding, weight loss journey. A lot of people are intrinsically motivated to start lifting. And, you know, some people may disagree and say, well, no, it's because somebody else pushed them into it. I would disagree. I think that a lot of people you see in the gym and or newer people in the gym, you say, why did you start lifting? A lot of people will say like, well, I want to feel better about myself. I want to lift like these guys that I see online. I want to feel happy about how far I've been able to push my body. So I feel like a lot of people will start lifting intrinsically. When I started lifting, I really just wanted something to do because COVID was going on. So I wanted something to entertain myself. And I knew that if I was going to the gym or going in my basement working out, that I would feel much better about myself at the end of the day. And I'll be like, look how much I lifted. I'm happy internally about how much I lifted. And I feel better about myself if I start lifting. That's why I started lifting. And basically, the way that you can use intrinsic motivation to your advantage is when you want to do something for you. When you look in the mirror and you see, man, I don't like this quality about myself. I don't like the way I look. I don't like how much I can lift. I want to lift more and I want to do it for myself. I want to make myself feel better. Intrinsic motivation is what you need to, you want to pull from. You want to look at these things that you don't like about yourself. And every time that you're in the gym, you want to refer back to these things, right? If you're doing bench press and you're like, man, I just did, a 1x8, and I did a 2x8, and I got a burnout set, but I'm really not looking forward to this burnout set. If you're intrinsically motivated, if that sounds like you, the best way to get yourself to do that burnout set would be to basically tell yourself, well, at the end of the day, I'm going to look in the mirror or I'm going to watch back on my videos and I'm going to notice that my strength isn't going up or I'm not looking better the way that I want to, and I'm going to blame myself for not doing this. So I need to do this because I'm so intrinsically motivated that I want to do this. And so basically, that is when you would refer back to intrinsic motivation, when you're really motivated by yourself, when you're trying to change for you, when you're trying to get somewhere for you. And a lot of people will do this too when they're coming back from an injury, myself included. If you're coming back from an injury, let's say for me, I once squatted 705. As I was coming back from this injury, it was a sciatica down my legs, still kind of going on, but we're right up there back where I was. I really wanted to do it for me. I wanted to prove to myself that I could lift as much as I did, or I could squat as much as I did, which was a 705 squat. And I want to prove to myself that I could do that again. So I was intrinsically motivated. So every time I was in the gym and it got really hard and I didn't want to keep going, I didn't want to do accessories, I didn't want to push as hard as I could, I had to tell myself, I'm trying to prove to myself right now. Right now is when I prove to myself that I can do it. I could get back to that number and I need to keep going or else I'm not going to be able to get back to that number. That's the example of intrinsic motivation. Now, how to know if intrinsic motivation is for you? Basically, if you look in the mirror, what do you think about yourself? If you look in the mirror and you're like, yeah, there's a good amount of changes to be made. I'm not happy personally with how I look, right? I don't care about what other people think. I'm not happy personally with how I look. I'm not happy personally with my lifts. Then this would be a great way to take intrinsic motivation to the gym and try to seek motivation from it, right? You want to use that intrinsic motivation in the gym. If you notice that you personally aren't happy with a lot of things or a lot of the outcomes that you've been getting in your life. And now moving forward onto extrinsic motivation, this is when people start working out because they're like, hey, if I go to the gym today and I do X amount of cardio, I'm going to reward myself by going to get a crumble cookie. Or hey, I'm really not as big as my friends, and I want to look as big as my friends. So the reward of me going to the gym and training really hard will be me looking as big as my friends. Or hey, my buddy benches 315, I'm only at 275. The reward of me benching 315 is that I will look stronger to him. You could keep going on, right? That's extrinsic. It's outside sources. Now, how do you know that extrinsic motivation is for you? I know so many people say, oh man, screw what other people think, just do it for you, just do it for you, just do it for you. That's great and all, but I notice that that's really a beginner thing, right? If you're a beginner, you're coming back from an injury, you're starting out, intrinsic motivation is more for you, like I said. But extrinsic motivation, this could be when you're in those middle grinding like phases, right? You've kind of hit a plateau. You're still doing it for yourself, but you're still at a plateau. You're trying to win something. If you're trying to win something, you're not exactly just winning it for you. Now, I know a ton of people are like, oh, yeah, I'm winning it for me. I mean, but like, realistically, you're not really trying to go and win something for you. You're trying to win something so you get that reward. You want to win the powerlifting meet. You want to win the bodybuilding show so you could get that trophy, that medal, whatever, so you can hold that and say, I did this. I'm happy that I did this and I beat these other people. And then look, everybody respects me more now because I won this show or did whatever, right? That's an example of extrinsic motivation. So extrinsic motivation isn't always bad. Now, you do need to always be, I would say the levels to this is intrinsic motivation, extrinsic motivation, and then doing it for somebody else. Now, doing it for somebody else could fall under extrinsic motivation, but I'm going to break that down a little bit further once I get there. We're still at extrinsic motivation right now. So, extrinsic motivation can only really come, in my belief, after you already have intrinsic motivation. If you just have extrinsic motivation, well, you're basically the definition of somebody who's happy where you're at because you're always just fighting to impress someone else and you're never actually going to grow overall as a whole. But extrinsic motivation is good if you're in one of those times where you're like, man, it's time to lock in and grind. It's time to win this meet, or man, my buddies are getting stronger and I'm not, and they're starting to show, they're like, hey man, you're not catching up with us. You've been skipping the gym and we're kind of not like looking at you the way we did before. We'd like to see you get back after it. That'd be extrinsic motivation. It's not a bad thing, but you don't always want to be extrinsically motivated, or else you're just going to be running around to impress this person, whatever, and you're never really going to be climbing the ranks up of your personal growth. You see what I'm saying? You can't always do it for an outside factor, but sometimes it is not a bad idea. So who does this apply to most, right? Like I said, if you're trying to win something, if you're trying to place top 50 in something, if you're trying to place top 25, you want to stand on the podium, great. Those are all examples of extrinsic motivation. They're not bad at all, but you just notice or just note that you can't always be like pushed by extrinsic motivation, because at some point you're just going to be doing something for everybody else, nothing for yourself. Another example of extrinsic motivation would be like if your friends are lifting and they're going harder than you and they're like, hey man, we'd like to like push you a little bit more to see you back in the gym so we could think, that you're back like one of us now. That'd be another example of extrinsic motivation because they're trying to motivate you to get back up to their level. That'd be an example of it. And like I said a million times, it's not a bad thing at all. It just can't be permanent. Now there's this new type of motivation that I've kind of added on here, and doing something for other people is literally exactly what I just said for extrinsic motivation. So doing something for other people would be part of extrinsic motivation. But I kind of threw my own twist on this to make this like another layer of motivation, right? And so basically, doing something for other people, this will be like a fictional idea, but somebody that I watch a lot of and I really, aspire to be similar to him when he was in his prime was George Lehman. He deadlifted, 900 pounds for three. Man, I think he pulled 903 in a competition too. Very, very strong guy, and I really like his message and everything that he stood for. And basically, what he would say is his younger brother passed away when I think he was like 13, I think he said, I can't remember. And every single day he would go into the gym and he would think, what could I do if I was like, what would I do like today in this one set if I was trying to bring my little brother back? And so obviously that would be extrinsic motivation. That's no different than like kind of what I just said before. but I excluded this because I think that this is like a whole new level when you're really doing it for somebody else. You're not just doing it because somebody is like pushing you to do it. So you'd basically be motivated by trying to like do something for someone else. You're not doing it for yourself, but you'd be doing it for somebody else. Now, typically, extrinsic motivation, when they use it, this as an example, is you're doing it for like because people are pushing you to do it so you could catch up to them, but you're still kind of doing it for yourself. I think that this next level of motivation is more of what would I do if I could do it for this person? So compared to what would this person push me to do so I could be better in their eyes. This type of motivation that I've kind of separated is what could I do if I gave it my all for this one person. And this could really work for anybody, I think. And I think this would be like top level motivation. I think that you would have had to, you have to be intrinsically motivated. You have to have some extrinsic motivation at some point, and you're kind of seeking that next level of motivation. And this is also kind of the example of, if you saw that weightlifter, he was an Olympic weightlifter, his wife passed away, and he told his wife that he was going to win for her before she passed away, and he pulled off that crazy lift, which was like a 12 kg, 25 pound PR, where he pulled it off for her. Now, yes, like I said before, this would be technically extrinsic motivation, but this is like so far in the extrinsic motivation, I think it kind of deserves its own like tier. If you can really make yourself feel and believe in your mind, in your heart, in your body, if you can dedicate everything in your mind, heart, body, soul, whatever, to doing something for one person because you would put all of it on the line for that person, I think that that level of motivation could be next freaking level. Now, when I lost this last powerlifting meet, I didn't get to do nationals due to the injury, but I lost the last powerlifting meet, and I was really happy that my family was able to be there and support me. And so I basically realized that, this next meet I don't want to do for myself. I don't want to do just to beat this guy. What I want to do this next meet for is to make my family proud. And I'm going to give everything I could possibly put into it. Everything, literally everything. Because if I don't, I'm going to disappoint my family. And I'm going to put everything into it. Even though they didn't push me to do it, they didn't tell me if you win or lose, anything changes in our relationship, nothing. They didn't say anything. But in my heart, I felt if I don't, do the best that I can, if I don't grow, if I don't, win this meet, I'm disappointed in my family. And I think this is that next level of extrinsic motivation, which is doing it for somebody else. And so I think this is something for a lot of advanced lifters or lifters that have really hit a plateau. I'm not talking, you hit a plateau for a couple months, but you're running on to like a year plateau, and you're like, I just can't do it for myself anymore because I am doing it for myself, but it's just still not working. And I've done it for other things, and it's not worked. Put yourself in the position that you're doing it for someone else, that you want to, like, they didn't tell you to do it, but you're going to do it for that person. And I think that if you can actually make your mind, body, soul, everything connected to actually making it for that person, I think you will unlock a next level of extrinsic motivation, which will be possibly the greatest like motivation you can get. Like, simple, end of discussion. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully you guys are able to understand what I'm saying by this. That type of motivation would probably, like I said, be for really advanced lifters, people advanced in life, and they're just looking for like another level of motivation. I think when you're able to do it for someone else, you're gonna reach a new level. If somebody told you to hang on a pull-up bar, and you can win a prize, you're going to hang on that pull-up bar as the best you can and try to win that prize. But if somebody put you on that pull-up bar and say, hang on that pull-up bar and you can win a prize for your mom, you're probably actually going to hang on that pull-up bar longer because you're trying to do it for your mom. And there's studies that prove this. Obviously, I'm not a site sourcer or a pro writer, so no, I don't have the sources, but you can do your research and you can find that that is very true. And that's what I would call next level extrinsic motivation for people who need a whole new level of motivation, basically. So hopefully you guys picked up something though from this motivation video. This is kind of like the new setup now that I'm back at home. We're going to be cranking out videos again. So thank you guys for tuning in. If you made it to the end, go ahead, comment down below. What did you think about this video? What else should I make videos on? And until next time, Blake Wentz signing out. Peace.